Peace. Good morning. How you doing, families? Mr. R2 here at T. Almost said a whole nother brand, but I'm definitely happy that you are here today with me. And today is Friday, and not everyone made it to today. Let's just be honest. Not everyone made it to Friday. Not everyone made it to the weekend. Not everyone made it to see this day. There's somebody right now globally didn't make it to Thursday. So if they did not make it to Thursday, they definitely did not make it to Friday. So let's just give thanks and blessings to us being able to be alive on this side of the earth. So everybody that is watching right now, thank you for being here, and I appreciate everything that you. Every time that you show up, I appreciate you. Every time that you comment, I appreciate you. Every time I say good morning and you say good morning back, I appreciate you. So from me to you, good morning, and thank you for being here. Um, yeah, how was your week? That's a question, really. How was your week? Um, was your week trying? Did you have a blessed week? Did you have a good week? Did you have a terrible week? If your week was terrible, my next question after that is and will always be, well, what did you do about it? But I'm interested in knowing how your week was. Good morning, Miss Selena. So how was your week? Let's have that conversation. How was your week? Because what I don't want is for your week to be a certain way and then your weekend to be the same way that your week was. Because if your weekend is the same way as your week was, if your week was not um, as good as you wanted it to be, let's figure out how to uh, uh, correct that or how to adjust with that piece. Good morning, Miss Golden. So let's talk about that. How was your week, Miss Golden? How was your week, Miss Selena? All right, so let's jump into it. Definitely not going to keep you long. Your week was very productive. A productive week is a beautiful week. And one thing that I want to tell you guys and teach you as well, not that you didn't know it, but progress is addictive. Progress is addictive, but you have to be addicted to the process if you're ever going to be addictive to progress, because progress is actually a measure of faith. Because if progress is a measure of faith, that means you have to have the ability to want to start something and to see yourselves in it before you're actually in it. Before you actually get through it, you have to get to it. Bars. If you're actually going to get through it, you have to get to it. I mean, you have to have a starting point before the starting line begins. Because, like someone who runs track, before they ever got to the starting line, they had to get to the starting point of running. They had to develop, they had to train, they had to get themselves and to develop that state of mind that win or lose, I'm going to compete. With or without you, I am going to compete. At the sound of the gun, I'm going to get to it, because once I get to the end, once I get to the finish line, that's going to show that my work or that my training actually uh, is working, or it's just going to show how much I've trained. But yeah, I'll leave that alone. Uh, had a very busy week, yet productive yourself. All right, it's beautiful. Productivity, productivity, productivity. All right, so let's get into it. Me versus me. Um, I just love, me versus me. Um, because it's real. I mean, me versus me is so real that you have to understand that if I don't understand who I am, then I won't get to where I want to go, because it's me versus me. So, of course, normally we go through the definition of the words and things of that nature, but I don't think we need to define me. But I want you to define you, because the word me is a preposition. So now my question to you, if it's a preposition, then how are you pre-positioning yourself to get to that point? So the two things the three things I'm going to teach you about, the 3 C's of me. Not saying me in general, but developing the me, the 3 C's of me. Somebody say the 3 C's, because when you get to understand and begin to break down the 3 C's of me, then you have the ability to move forward in a direction that becomes not just progressive, but move forward in a direction that becomes what? Productive. So the 3 C's is never compete, never compare, and never complain. Those are the 3 C's. The 3 C's of me is never compete, never compare, and never complain. So now let's begin to go into it and to break these 3 C's down. Never compete. Now, as you can see, the common trait in these three is the COM. You got compete, compare, complain. It's the COM. So therefore, how do you see you? Because you can't compete if you don't see yourself. You can't compare what you and who you are if you don't see what you have or where you are at that particular moment. And shut your mouth complaining against something that you didn't work for. So now let's jump into it. Compete. Never compete against anyone, but compete with your past performance. Again, never compete against anyone, but just compete with your past performance. Because if I understand what I have and I understand where I'm going, because I am competing against my past performance. Because if I did an event and there was 500 people that came out, so now I have a standard of where I am and I have a standard that is set, so I know what I want next time. Because if I had 500, what did I do to bring 500 out? So now I duplicate that process. So now I'm competing against my own efforts of bringing 500. So how can I bring 501? That is you competing against your past performances in order for you to get to where you want to go. And the next one is after you have competed against yourself, the next thing that you got to do is begin the process of comparing. Never compare yourself to anyone's accomplishments or lifestyle. Why would you compare someone else's lifestyle with yours when your life is not even built that way, when your accomplishments are yours? Because again, if I'm comparing myself to myself, then I am only looking at myself to get me there. I'm not looking at what you have in order for me to accomplish what I have, but I could possibly look at what you have and be influenced, or look at what you have and say, you know what? I am so proud of him. I am so proud of her, but I am now running my own race because I'm comparing myself to what I just got finished doing. I'm not comparing your accomplishments, because what you did to get there is not how I'm going to get there, because my gifts are different from yours. So why am I comparing your accomplishments when our gifts are different? Why am I comparing the path that you've taken if the road that you travel is bumpy, if the road that you traveled is rocky, if the road that you travel has so many obstacles that you fall into it, that you've jumped over it, that you've jumped around it, that you've hit that wall, but my road doesn't have the same things that you have. So therefore, I am only comparing myself to the journey that I'm on. I am comparing myself to my destiny, because my destiny is the lifestyle that I live. So I'm no longer comparing myself to anyone. And just don't do that, because when you do that, you begin to allow doors of you complaining, because you want to complain about what you don't have and complain about what somebody else has done to you, but you didn't do anything to change it. because never complain about what you don't have if you haven't done anything to get it. It's so easy to point the finger at everybody else, but you don't want to point the finger at yourself. It's just like you're going to the store and you purchase something and there's a 30-day guarantee on it. So if you're purchasing this product or you purchase this car that got a money back guarantee, if it doesn't actually produce like you want it to produce, what are you going to do? You're going to want to take it back. You're going to feel upset. You may have an attitude. You may give a bad review about the product, but what about the review that you're giving yourself? You didn't review yourself. You didn't review the job that you did. You didn't review the things that you should have done, because you have to begin to complain about the things that you know you should have done, because there has to be a self-conviction that sits so deep within inside of yourself that you have to be convicted to complain about the task that you didn't do, to complain about the sleep that you just wanted to give so much about yourself. I am so sleepy that I can't go and go do it. I am so sleepy that I didn't complain. I didn't complete this task, but you don't want to focus on the things that you know that you should have done. But it's so easy for you to point the finger at everybody else. You need to get your money back from you. You need to look at the guarantees that you need to have for yourself. I guarantee failure is going to happen if you quit. I guarantee that because you didn't try, you will never achieve it. I guarantee that it will never come to pass if you never start. So complain about that. Complain about you not activating your gifts, but you worried about what somebody else have when you never activated your gift. But you know that you have a purpose in life, but you never got to it. And one thing that I want you to take, if you don't remember anything I say today, today is your day today is your day for your greatest accomplishment. And the last portion of it at the bottom is kind of where we were yesterday in yesterday's conversation when we talked about the mere possibilities, clinging on to the mere possibilities. We were talking about hope. So if today is your day for your greatest accomplishments, hold on to that. Hold on to the mere possibilities of it and then execute. And because once you execute it, it's going to get you to the point to where you say, today is my day, and there's nothing that you can do that is going to deny that. You have to have that undeniable faith. You have to have that undeniable energy. You have to tell yourself, I'm not competing against anyone. I am competing against myself because I got me. That's not you being selfish. That's not you being arrogant. That's you telling you that I got it. That's you telling you that if it is, the greater is he that is within me. Tell yourself that you got it. Go me versus me. You owe you to be great. You owe it to your grandchildren to be great. You owe it to your great-grandchildren to be great. Because if there is a legacy within your destiny, then your destiny will not be met until you get to that destination. That's me versus me. That's not having the waverable actions that is so easy for you to lay down and take your tail to sleep, but you don't want to deny the inabilities that you set upon yourself of not getting up. You can get up, but did you make the decision to get up? Did you make the effort to get up? Yeah, some of y'all need to get y'all money back. Get your money back because you didn't fulfill the guarantee. You didn't fulfill your own order. You need to complain about your order, because if your steps was ordered, then what did you do with that? It's just like if you go to McDonald's or you go to a restaurant and you order something, you have a strong expectation of what you ordered is to come to your table as if it was perfected. But you got to get into the kitchen. You got to get into the kitchen of your mind. You have to get into the kitchen of your thoughts, because when you get into the kitchen and you put the right ingredients, you put the right amount of water, you put the right amount of heat, you put the right amount of salt, you put the right amount of sugar. Because when you do the right amount, when you put the effort into it, then you know that according to your palate, it tastes good. According to your journey, you're going to get there because you put in the work. You know how you want things to taste, because just like for those, like for me, when I actually do drink coffee, I have a little bit more sugar than probably the norm. Or like those who make sweet tea and they make it a little bit more sweeter than somebody else. You know what you want. You know how you want it to taste. So what makes you not go after your goals the same way as you know how you want things to taste? You have denied yourself the blessings because you have denied yourself to not compete against someone. You're closing doors to your own imagination because you have failed to order your steps. You're closing the doors to your own blessing because you've never started. You're closing doors to getting to where you ought to be because you never looked at what you have inside of you. So, therefore, the efforts coming from you probably never came from you, probably came from you watching somebody else, probably came from you putting tallies on somebody else's blessings, probably came from you looking at what everybody else have, probably came from you worrying about what everybody else is saying, worrying about what everybody else is doing. Don't you know that your race is yours? A race, yes, if you do the 4x1s, it is still a team effort, but everyone has to run their particular race. Whether you're the anchor or the lead, it's still your race. You have to run the race. It's you versus you. It's me versus me. And when we understand that we can be competitive with our own self, then I'm not comparing myself to you. I am not complaining about what I don't have. Why? Because I am actually working on the things that I know that I have in order for me to accomplish the things that I know that I need to go get. That's me versus me. That's me building me. A lot of us want to say, oh, well, instead of going to the well. It's easy to throw your hands up and say, oh, well. But what if you create yourself as the well? Because you got to dig deep. Because when you dig deep inside of the very you that you know that you have, you can pull out some water and allow that water to quench your thirst. Stop throwing your hands up and saying, oh, well, like you don't have anything that's deep inside of you. Pull it out, because the thing or the day that you pull it out of yourself, that is when you're going to say, I have accomplished something, and now I just need to duplicate that process and become consistent with it, because you have developed the greater part of you, which is how you process your thought, which is how you understand your vision, which is how you stir up your gift, which is how I move. Because if I am moving without sight, therefore there is faith at the end of my steps. My steps are ordered. The guarantee only comes when you're actually working for it, when you're committed to it, when you're courageous, when you're competing against your past performances. And I guarantee you're going to get it. You're going to get there. You're going to get there. That's all I'm going to say. You're going to get there. But the only way for you to get there is to get there. Me versus me. So when you're doing something, even today, just say it's me versus me. It's me versus me. Talk to yourself. It's me versus me. Remember when we were young, people used to tell you, oh, don't talk to yourself. You're going to look crazy. I don't care. I don't care. Talk to you. What conversations are you having with you? What conversations do you have with the internal you? What conversations do me have with me? Because if I can't talk to me, then how do I expect to be able to learn how to communicate with you? When I can't even communicate with myself, when I can't even empower myself, when I can't even give myself the energy that I need to get me to the other side. So therefore, I must learn how to communicate with me, because there are triggers that I have that's going to get me to ignite me to get to the point that I need to go to. But I know that I have to go through it. That's me versus me. Then duplicate the process. Hey, y'all be blessed. Stop competing against people who don't even compare to you. Stop denying yourself a victory because you want to complain about being the victim. Let me say that again. Stop denying yourself the victory because you want to complain about being the victim. I don't know where that came from, but whoever that was for, take it. Take it and receive it. Take it and put it into your box. Take it and look at it and examine it. Stop denying yourself the victory because you want to complain about being the victim. Don't you know if you constantly and consistently complain, you become your very own enabler? You're enabling yourself to stay the victim because you've never developed a victorious mindset. You've never developed a champion mindset, because when you develop that champion mindset, you then begin to fortify yourself, fortify your mind to be a champion. That means you protect yourself from outside influence that does not become beneficial to your thought process. Okay, now I'm done. Hey, y'all be blessed. I'll see you on Monday. Yeah, I see you on Monday. Selm 30. Y'all be blessed. Peace.